The days the 2.5% down payment to buy a business already over. Now we've gotten a good number of deals done at this 2.5% down payment. One of the big lenders that was willing to do the 2.5% down got out of the market for what luckily only turned out to be a few weeks. But at one point we thought it was going to be a permanent exit from the SBA loans for acquisition market. But luckily they recently found a new funding source, and I think they're going to come back to the market. But that impact of them leaving has affected the market. So we've noticed across banks that we've just seen deals getting a little tougher. We've had banks ask for things that I don't think they would have asked for a month ago, as far as maybe having the seller keep some equity or bringing in additional guarantees. Things that somewhat I call de facto no's. These are things they're not saying no to the deal, but essentially they're putting some criteria on the loan that of course you're not going to want to do. And this is happening to deals that just would have been absolute slam dunks a month ago. And one area is lenders are wanting to see a little bit more cash brought to the table by the actual buyer. Even if it's an investor funded deal, that the banks are now wanting to see some equity from the buyer. Luckily, it's really kind of moving around, and some of it's a negotiation between my team and the bank. We're really trying to get that number, really what fits that client the best. If it's someone that's not planning to bring a lot themselves, then we want to make sure that we can fit what the bank requires to them. But there's been a lot more back and forth. I think things are working out. We're still getting deals done, but it's just the market feels a little different. And it reminds me of back in my trading days. Trading is pretty similar to what we're doing here. You'd have some type of risk, something you're trying to sell or something you're trying to buy, and you're trying to find a bank that wants to take the other side of that. I think here, and the risk tolerance from banks tends to ebb and flow across different things. We're seeing a lot of that happen here in the loan market. Now, I'm not sure how long this tightness is going to last now that the one big player is coming back to the market. I think we might see a return back to where we were a month ago, just because it is a highly competitive market. We're going to take our deals to where they're treated best, and that's how a lot of other people are going to operate as well. I will say deal volume at the banks that will do less than 5% down, of course, they're very busy. There's only a few of them, so that means there are big backlogs. There are backlogs really across the industry. We're seeing it everywhere. Luckily, we talked to one of our favorite banks. They're adding more staff, so I think the industry is adapting. I think we're seeing somewhat of a consolidation in the SBA industry. You see more and more deals going to the top lenders and fewer deals going to the rest of the market. And of course, there are thousands of banks out there that can do SBA loans. But the market share of the top 10 banks is really growing. So if you're counting on a low down payment, here's what we recommend. The minimum credit score is 680. You want to be significantly higher than that. Definitely somewhere in the mid 700s or better. You want to bring a little bit of cash to the table. You should at least be able to front your legal costs, which are usually about $30,000, maybe less for a smaller deal. Think of it this way, 1% of the sale price with a minimum of $20,000. Make sure your search is focused. If you're expecting to put a lower down payment, it has to be in an industry that you have experience, and that's direct industry experience. So automatically, if you don't have experience in that industry, you're probably looking at the 5% down option. The only way to open the door for you really is if you have 2 years or more direct industry experience to get that 2.5% down. And yeah, these aren't any hacks. There's no workarounds or hacks that you can do to get this. You really just have to be a really solid candidate for the loan. If you need help finding a loan or finding a business, check the link in our bio.